So hey YouTube, and welcome back to one of my videos. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about the queer representation in Ghost of Tsushima. So I did a video on the channel a little while ago which I was super proud of, and I want to turn to the series where I talked about the queer representation in The Last of Us Part 2, and if you want to see that video you can click the card up there. But without further ado, we're just going to get into the queer representation that is found in the Ghost of Tsushima. So Ghost of Tsushima, if you don't know, is a AAA title published by Sony Interactive Studios and produced and developed by Sucker Punch Productions, who are the people behind the infamous series, and also Sly Cooper, or Sly Raccoon if you're in Europe, which I am. The game follows Jin, a samurai whose clan has been wiped out, and it follows his journey of protecting Tsushima Island from this invasion that killed his clan. This is a story that you would not expect to see queer representation in. However, there are some aspects of queer representation in this story. So here is your spoiler warning. There's going to be no spoilers from the main story of the game, but there are going to be some light spoilers from 2 of the side missions. So the main queer character in this game is a character called Lady Masako, who was married to a lord and is one of the members, only surviving members of her clan. And it is revealed in one of her side missions called The Thief, which I believe is Act 7 of her tale, that Lady Masako is in fact bisexual and that she had an intimate relationship with one of her servants, who was a female servant called May. When I first played the mission, I was honestly really surprised to actually see this play out, because I was just playing the game. I was really enjoying the game, and I played all the side missions because I was platinum in the game, and I 100% did not expect to have a queer character in this world. However, even more surprising is Jin's reaction. So when I originally seen this play out, I was thinking, is he going to be accepting? Because I wasn't really sure of the traditions that they would have held in this period of Japan. If you have played the mission, you will know that his reaction is very positive. He is honestly more annoyed about the fact that Lady Masako cheated on her husband than the fact that she was with a female servant. Which, honestly, understandable. I would be exactly in the same position as Jin in that situation. I would be like, it's cool that you're bi, but don't like the cheating. And then there is also a second queer relationship that is showcased in the game. And this is on another side mission that I feel like a lot of people would have missed. And it is one called The Spirit of Yakayaka's Revenge. This time it is a queer man, and it is this guy who is in a camp, and he is being accused of being a spy for the Mongols because of like the amount of murders and stuff that's going around, and a lot of people have had eyewitness accounts of him sneaking out of the camp late at night, so they assume that it's him that's doing the spying and telling the Mongols who to kill. Obviously Jin is investigating this and he's going around the camp asking questions, so they obviously point to this man. He goes over and the man says, "Follow me and I'll show you where I'm going." So he takes Jin to a gravesite, and it is revealed that it is a gravesite of his ex-lover who has passed away. However, he cannot tell the family that this is where he's going, because the family doesn't know that there was cheating and there was an affair with this man that was going on, so he can't really say anything because he doesn't want the family to know about the affair. Again, in this situation, Jin is accepting, and he just wants the man to get to safety and tells the man not to return to camp, and it gives them a safe location where he can go. And I think this is a really nice gesture by Jin to kind of like give him a safe space to go, as opposed to just like send them back to the camp and being like, yeah, just go back, because he maybe would have been attacked or killed because they thought he was a spy Surprisingly, not because he was gay. So that's the two stories that are represented in the game. That's the only two stories, and they are both in side missions as well. So if you just played through the main story, you might have actually missed this nugget of representation. Although I am happy to see the representation of these two stories in the game, I do, however, feel like it does play into that kind of harmful stereotype of like, oh, all bisexuals are cheaters. Because in both stories, there's accounts of cheating. However, in saying that, I don't think it was the studio's intention to kind of like depict that. It does feel like they wanted the representation to feel natural and real, and the only way they felt that they could incorporate it into this world was to maybe have a cheating storyline or something, because I think that the actual representation is, again, I've said it before, but it feels very, very natural and doesn't feel like it was just like shoehorned in just so the studio could say, look, we've got gay characters in our game too. You know, it doesn't feel like that, because this game wasn't marketed with that in mind. I've seen very few people talk about this online. You know, when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, a lot of queer people were talking about the representation in that game. Whereas at Ghost of Tsushima, I don't see anyone talking about this representation. Especially even with the studio. The studio hasn't really said anything on that matter either. So I do feel like the developers really did care about these two stories and wanted to reflect them in the best light possible. And wanted to show them in a way that was actually inclusive to the LGBT community, and in a way that felt real. But it also did fit the era that the game was set in as well. Something I think is good representation in this game as well is Jhin as an ally. He shows himself to be an ally to the LGBT community in both of these stories, because he wants the man to get to safety, and he tells Lily Masako, listen, I don't see you any differently, you're still a good samurai, you know. He doesn't see her as any different. Although his sexuality in the game is never revealed, he does have that kind of hint at romance of Yuna that never ever actually gets the chance to present itself on screen, but you can tell they have a close bond. But it can be assumed that he is more than likely straight, and he is just an ally, which is pretty cool. We've got a samurai ally in the LGBT community. That's awesome. However, this could be because of the belief system in Japan at this time would have largely been Buddhist, which is a religion that doesn't actually have a negative view on LGBT or same-sex relationships. You know, like other religions like Christianity do have that quite strong anti-gay vibe. So the religion that Jin would have practiced, which is Buddhism, would have actually been quite accepting of same-sex or LGBTQ relationships. There's nowhere in their beliefs that says gay relationships are wrong. The game has also been praised by the people of Tsushima as being an accurate representation of their culture and their history. We can actually say that this game is quite accurate in the way that it does depict feudal Japan and the beliefs that they would have held in regards to homosexuality. In conclusion, I think the representation in this game was really, really, really good, and I think it is a step in the right direction for the LGBTQ+ community being represented in video games. I really like how everything felt natural. For me, it just didn't feel like it was just put in there for the sake of it being there. It really felt like they thought about these stories that would have actually happened in this time period in Japan and kind of built some of the side stories around that. Obviously, it goes without saying, but the majority of the world is straight, so that's why probably in the main story they just kept it the main story. But to have like all the different side missions and all the different, you know, stories that they were able to tell in those side missions, and having two of them to represent the LGBT community is really, really awesome, and I just thought it was a really natural way of doing it. However, in saying that, it does mean that if you don't play the side missions, you completely miss that representation, which I think is a bit sad. I wish Leiru Masako coming out as bi, I wish that was in the main story of the game, because I feel like that would have been really, really, really cool to have like every player have that experience of showing Jin's positive reaction to somebody coming out to him. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity, but the representation itself is really, really, really good. And I'm really glad to see representation in a game that I loved playing and really, really enjoyed playing so much. So that was my thoughts and my opinions on the queer representation in the Ghost of Tsushima. Just want to say I'm sorry if I butchered some Japanese words there. I did try and look up the pronunciations before filming and I did try and rehearse them, but I find it really difficult to say certain words. Feel free to correct my pronunciation in the description below, because I really need to learn how to pronounce words from different cultures. But if you did enjoy watching this video and you want to share your thoughts on LGBT representation in this game, feel free to down below. If you have any other queer games or games that include queer characters, let me know, because I would love to do like a deep dive into more games in this style. There might be some that I've never heard of, and it would be great to have more queer games in the collection as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe and love, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.